All right, and we are live, fired out of the cannon. Y'all know how we going. Y'all know how we going. Welcome to the 4th and 1 podcast. This is episode 13, guys, but this is not the 13th week of college football because if it was, I probably would not have my shirt on. I'm playing. I'm not, though. As you can see in the heading here is Tennessee, the best team in the country. We're going to get to that here in a second. But this is our college football best bets for week 8, man. Just a quick recap. You already know who I am, man. I am your host, Coach Trey. Flying solo tonight. Rusi is under the weather a little bit, has a couple of things to take care of. So we are going to lead it off 49 by ourselves. Just a quick little recap. I gave you the Texas, Iowa State under at 49.5. That's a hit. Indiana, Maryland over 61.5. That is a hit. Took a little bit of a beater here. I gave a shout out to my old coach, putting JMU in the parlay, Air Force, Michigan, and JMU money line. I took a loss on that one, but that's the only loss. As I told you, the one play that I didn't play that I wanted everybody else to play was Tennessee plus 9.5. And boy, did that hit. And the player prop of the week was Jackson Dart under 220.5 yards, and that hit with flying colors. A lot to get to, guys, so we're just going to get right into it. The first thing I want to get out of the way is I'm so very pleased and privileged to be here with you. I love doing this show. Honest to God, coming here between two doors is like the literal pinnacle of what I like to do with my week. And the reason for that is because it gives me a reason to get away a little bit from what we do in our regular life. Contrary to popular belief, Anthony and I do have jobs outside of this. But the one thing I want to get to, man, is that we're just going to start off with it. Everybody's talking about it, Tennessee. What can you say about Tennessee, man? Hats off to them. There is a extraordinarily daunting task for them. There is you call it what it is, man. We're just calling balls and strikes. Tennessee was impressive. And the way that they won might not have been. And if you play that game 10 times, Tennessee probably wins maybe somewhere between 5 and 6 times, if that's fair to say. But that's the game you got. I told you the exact same thing happened when Tennessee played LSU. If you played that game 10 times, they're probably going to dog walk them like that maybe twice. If that's the one that you got. But look what it takes to beat Alabama. I've been telling you guys this all year. I started this podcast off when we gave you our preseason predictions. I literally said, Trey carries this channel, no doubt. Big love to my boy Russo. I said whenever we came on this and gave you my preseason predictions, both of ours together, I told you Alabama was going to lose a game. But I told you that they had the talent to win every single one of them. I didn't tell you they were the best team in the country. I just told you that if you were willing to make their money line bet of, they're over, 10.5 wins or what have you, you may as well just bet them to win the SEC championship. Nobody saw Georgia coming like this, but we kind of did see Tennessee this way. But look what it took to not get away from it. I don't want to bury the lead here. Like, look what it took for Alabama to lose that game. It took a historical performance of penalties. Some might say that the officials had money on the game. I'm not here to say any of that. I do not believe that. You're going to run yourself dry and into a coma trying to believe that officials are out to get your team like that. That's literally nonsense. It's literally not that way. It may seem as though it is that way, but officials are just bad at officiating. let's not dig any deeper than that. Like, it is what it is. But the one point I do want to make, though, is that in a bounce back spot, Alabama rolls, okay? I'm not saying to go lay 21 when they go and play Mississippi State. I'm not. They're going to have a bye week as soon as this game ends when they play State. Please don't rush to the podium to go and try to spam minus 21 on Alabama. I will never condone minus 21 spreads. But the one key factor was look what it took to beat Alabama. And here's the trophy. If you're Tennessee and you end up beating Georgia and you go to the SEC championship, you get to probably and most likely face Alabama again. Who's gonna pick them to win that game? You think Saban's losing to the same team twice? I've seen that movie before. It doesn't happen. I'm sorry. Got a few people joining in, man. That's fantastic. Give us a like and a subscribe and a follow if you can. If not, so be it. We're just here to give you some money. We're going to get into Russo's plays real quick, guys. We're going to get these out of the way because I don't have his analysis here, but I am going to read them to you. I will say there's one on here that I didn't even consider that I do love a whole lot. And it's honestly just, it's not really what you would expect from Rousseau. It's a little bit, kind of, back to the basics with this, man, because we're really, really trying to make, wow, I'm very distracted at how much money is in his balance account, his Phantom account. Oh my God. Anyway, we're trying to make you guys money. We're trying to give you the best bets that we know, that we see, that we're feeling. These are, something that we talk about together. This is, decisions that we make. So we're going to come in first. You know how he's been feeling about LSU all year. He's going to take the under 66.5 with Mississippi rather than LSU. Just like the LSU, this is his analysis. The LSU total, like the Tennessee game, is too high. Ole Miss can only run the ball, and LSU's run defense is suspect. Too many points for a high-stakes game. I get that. I'm not exactly sure if I'm willing to lay that under in a 2:30 game in Tiger Stadium, though. But he has way more cojones than me. Like, he literally nailed. This is the perfect kind of bet that he would nail, because I would be too insecure to want to bet that. So that's the perfect one for him. He's also going to take the Vanderbilt, Missouri under 49.5. I shouldn't need to explain to you why neither one of those teams should each score 25 points. Mississippi State and Alabama over 60.5. His analysis on that is that Bama's secondary is horrible, which means the State pass offense is good enough to score at least 28, and Bama's offense is capable of scoring at least 50 any day. Bama's not probably going to score 60. They're not going to score a crap load, but I definitely see them hitting over 60.5. But that's actually the one that, if there were to be one to play, I think that would be mine for me to play, only because I've just gotten burned on every other team on that list. And so I just have like a personal vendetta. Texas A&M and South Carolina over the 44.5. He thinks it's a prove-it game for South Carolina, thinks it's a prove-it game for every single person involved in South Carolina. There's a lot of things happening in South Carolina, and we're going to get to that here in just a second. But that's Anthony's plays, and he's going to stick to it. I love it. But the one thing that we haven't talked about, and I know everybody's going to bring it up, Georgia Tech, the regular season win total. We're going to go ahead and give that to you right now. This was one of my locks. Okay, like this is one of my locks to start the season out, man. I really didn't see that Georgia Tech was going to fire their coach in the middle of the season, and even if they did, I certainly didn't think that they would try and rally behind the man. But they ended up pulling out a thriller in overtime against Duke and winning 23-20, and I certainly didn't see them beating Pittsburgh, so they beat them. So that brings Georgia's win total right now to 1, 2, 3. They've still got Virginia, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Miami, Georgia, and then UNC. They could potentially win 1, maybe 2 of those next 6. They could probably win 2 of those and kill my under, but that's okay. That's okay. Whatever. We'll talk about it. Getting into my first plays, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize to the Big Ten. I made some pretty, I don't want to say controversial statements, but I was on. I took to Twitter the other day, and I ended up having to. Excuse me, just need a little bit of water here, because even winners need to get hydrated, but. I took to Twitter and I said, and this is all that I said. This is, and I quote, and I ended up grammatically like messing up the tweet at the end, so I deleted it. But I said something like this: if the best Big Ten team and the best SEC team were on a neutral field today, call it Dallas. What do you think the score? Okay, let's not even call it Dallas, because apparently that's not close enough. They both play in Boone, North Carolina. Okay. What do you think? And let's just say who that is right now, right? Let's go Georgia, Ohio State. What do you think that spread is? Okay. Probably a field goal, right? Either way. However, the either is going to be on Georgia's side, and nobody thought that was fair to say, and I don't know why. It's not biased to assume that odds makers look at draft picks whenever they make these lines. Like, I don't, whatever. But because of that, I really dug into my bag here, and I really want to find this. I really want to find this on FanDuel right quick, if you guys will allow me to find it. But I went back and I dug up some Wisconsin film. Look, Wisconsin is doing a fantastic job right now of taking care of business. I think that as far as I'm concerned, Wisconsin is one of those teams that I don't know. It's like they're playing like they have a. It's like it's not just the Jim Leonard thing. He is by far the least interim of the interim coaches. Like as far as all the ones that are playing right now, like obviously you want to see him take that step up, and he's probably going to get that job, right? Like there was a lot of people disgruntled at the time when Dave Aranda left because they thought that he was literally like a shoe-in to be there whenever it was time for him to be there. But right place, wrong time. I think Jim Leonard is fantastic. They're only getting 2.5 right here at home against Purdue. Purdue has a fantastic chance to win this game. They have a good offense and a good quarterback. The over's at 51.5, though. So obviously, what is that telling you? Vegas thinks that it's going to be a slug match. So I think. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Stop in and say I loved your analysis of my analysis. While we're here, I'm just getting off of work, so I figured I'd stop in and say hi to all the fans here.
An in-transit edition, straight off of work from Russo. Russo, is there anything you want to say before I finish this Wisconsin Purdue analysis up?
I'm gonna bounce. I don't want to screw the stream up. I wanted to come by and say hi, and you're carrying this channel, and sorry, my work schedule has been a little bit off the last couple of weeks, so I got kind of caught up today. So you gave a great analysis, and go Tigers.
I appreciate it, Russo.
I'm gonna see my way out of here.
We'll catch you. I appreciate that. That is the wonderful and fantastic and always helpful and insightful Russo, man. Russi badass, man. We miss him, but we're going to be back next week. Also, too, not to get away from that point that I was making about Wisconsin or Purdue, man. Wisconsin's playing for Jim Leonard. Wisconsin's playing with, like they've got disrespect on their name, and so because of that point, I'm going to take Wisconsin on that money line. But stay tuned to see if I don't add them in somewhere else. Something else that I like, man, is, and I'm going to really try to give as small of analysis as I can. Colorado State and Hawaii under 46.5. The amount of times that I've watched this kind of game, be not only under, but under by a lot. Like neither one of these two offenses are good. I think they're so bad that they are actually giving points because they think the defenses are just as bad. I think 6.5 is pretty high, so I'm gonna take that and run and run with it. Something else that I don't want everybody to get away with is, when you make an analysis such as the one that we just talked about, you have to kind of remember that these teams do have kids on it. So let's not be disrespectful whenever we talk about their teams, because apparently when you do that, people get pissed off and mad. They DM me on Twitter and say, "Oh, why do you hate my team?" I don't hate your team. Your team burned me though on a bet. So like, what do you want me to do? Like, give you sunshine and stickers? Shut the hell up. Anyway, I'm gonna get to one that I really, really, really love, but you're gonna have to check out the Patreon to get it. It's gonna be a parlay play. It's a really big banger. It's a heater. It has to do with a team that has consistently and constantly and without fail given you ding, 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 ding winners. I've been betting them for 6 weeks now. I literally cannot stop. I cannot get enough of them, and their helmets are fantastic. If you're following what I'm saying, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, if you're watching these games, you know what I'm talking about. But one thing that I do want to mention is just another point here is that when these kind of games happen with constant winners, please remember that they're not winning because of what's the old adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and you continue to just bet the same team. Please look at matchups. Like if Ole Miss is playing Vanderbilt And the over-under rushing total for Jackson Dart, who loves to run, by the way, is 13.5 yards. Vegas is telling you that either Jackson Dart's not healthy and they have word that you don't, or they think that they're going to be so far ahead in the game that they're just not going to have that opportunity to run that 13.5 yards. The same thing can be said for a running back, a receiver, anybody else, okay? Look at the matchups. Check out injuries. Check out who are they going to be lining up against. I gave you 2 weeks ago, or was it 3 or 2 weeks ago maybe? I gave you Kayshon Boutte anytime. The matchup that he had, I knew that he would be lining up in the slot, and I knew that even if he was on the outside, he was going to get fade routes. It was there for the taking. So I can't stress this enough. Look up matchups. And lastly, but certainly not least when it comes to these plays, is when we give you something, I promise it's not like us driving home and going, ding, ding, ding. No. There's multiple hours of time of us looking through things, combing through the ones that we like, bouncing them off of each other and saying, I like that. And there are other advocates at play in that, and I will do my best to try not to give that away. But there's a reason why when you see, and it's not every day now, it's not, obviously, and we can go through them if you'd like. I let my fingers when I turn pages. I'm like that. Last week, 4-1. Week before that, we gave you 3-2. Week before that, 5-1. Week before that, 6-0. Like you know what I'm saying? Like this isn't to be. It's not bragging rights. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to give you everything that we possibly can in order to make money, because that's what our show is about, right? And so whenever I get these DMs and these messages in my Twitter and on Instagram or whatever the case may be, and it's going, oh man, this team lost. Are you even paying attention? Oh, I'm sorry, dog. I didn't realize that that I couldn't make a mistake too. So bear with us. We obviously bet Xavier Worthy to get over on his receiving yards. He got like 11. I didn't realize that the Gatorade was good that day and he wasn't going to play but 5 snaps. You know what I'm saying? Like, far be it from me. So anyway, I just wanted to make that candidly clear, and certainly not to discredit some of these teams and some of these people, but every now and then you do just have a player that shows up to class late 2 or 3 times, and the coach says, "Hey, look, dog, you got 10 snaps. You guys are suicides. Like you get last in line to go to dinner. You're in bed about 10 p.m. Turn that phone off. We'll be checking." You know what I'm saying? Like there's things at play that they don't talk about. And the coach goes to the podium and says, "Oh, he's doing fantastic. He's doing all the right things. He had a great practice today. Had a great day of work. Ran 19 miles an hour. He tracked his body speed and all that stuff. And he's eating. He's weighing 226. But he got a, you know what I'm saying? He got a C on his theater test, and him and his old lady broke up, and he was 15 minutes late to class and didn't do his film studies, and he got the first 3 questions wrong that was asked to him, and now he's second on the depth chart. And then you're drunk in the stands, pissed off, wondering why the kid's not on the field. And you know who I'm talking to, and you know who I'm talking about. So let's just pretend like the coaches know what they're doing for a second and just let them go. And so I wanted to get into this, and I promised myself that I was going to try to keep this short, but to the people that are all over Twitter slandering the Tennessee win, let me paint you a picture as to what that meant to them. Watch this. I'm going to look this up for a second because I want to be right. Football record. To give you an analysis as to what the Tennessee win meant for them, the last time that Tennessee beat Alabama was 2006. Bell-bottom jeans and razors were full in tote at that time. Like, you didn't even have any of these players outside of the first grade at that time. Like, imagine being a fan and spending 16 years waiting for your team to win. Like, imagine being in that stadium with your grandpa who's 90 and is just on his last leg of wanting to go to football games before he stays at the crib and just eats peanut butter and, drinks High Lives. You know, it's like, what? It's a football game, guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's obviously the greatest sport of all time. It's obviously the greatest thing that you and I are ever going to watch on Saturday. I understand that, but be there in the moment as it is. And let's for a second remember that kids play the game. So instead of calling these kids out, trying to throw them under the bus, dog cussing their family, dog cussing them in their school, who are we yelling at just because you lost your bet? So Tennessee win was fantastic. But in case you wanted to know how much Vegas actually values Tennessee, if you've not looked at this, Tennessee and Georgia early line is 11.5. 11.5. 11.5. That means that on a neutral site, this is actually not going to be a neutral site. This will be Georgia at home. But on a neutral site, that line is probably 9. Probably 9. And I would probably say that it got to 10 by like midnight. So what do we – I don't know. I really don't know what to say other than fantastic win by Tennessee. I think that if you're wanting to bet odds on people right now, it's coming down to 2 people. It's really not that hard to figure out who it's going to be either. If you wanted to bet Hendon Hooker, I wouldn't stop you. But C.J. Stroud is far and away right now, I think, the winner. And the reason why is because obviously Tennessee still has to play Georgia, and they have to play Alabama again, even if they do beat Georgia. And so if they lose even one of those games, the toughest game that C.J. Stroud's going to play is Michigan. And they might beat Michigan by 2 touchdowns. Might lose the game. But even if they did, like, he's already ahead of Hendon Hooker at Hendon Hooker's best right now. And unless he throws for 7 a game, there's no way he's going to get any better, and the odds are going to get any worse. So if you're not going to take him now, then don't take him at all. If you're not going to take him now, it's C.J. Stroud or Hendon Hooker. Book it. Like, mark the tape. October 20th, 2022. Mark the tape. Like, it's going to be one of those 2 guys. It would literally take an act of Congress twice for it to be anybody else. So if you're going to make some parlays and you want to get weird, start adding your Heisman Trophy winner in there, because you still got C.J. Stroud at plus money right now. I want to say it's plus 100 maybe 150. And then you can probably get Hendon Hooker somewhere around the 400s. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel bad because that's probably like the last time you'll see a really, really, really strong start that nobody saw coming. Obviously outside of Jalen Daniels, like if Jalen Daniels is playing on anybody else's team other than Kansas, that man's probably in the conversation, and he gets hurt. And so now obviously, you kind of go through that, but it is what it is. I think Hendon Hooker is, because he's 24 years old, which is like 50 in NFL years, he's not going to get drafted as high as you and I think that he should. And so because of that, I don't know. I think that he's probably going to go somewhere, and if you win in the first round, that'd be great. Somewhere in the second or third round, someone's going to take a flyer on him. I don't know. We'll see. Last thing, check the Patreon. Be ready for my plays. You know that I'm going to come through with them. It's the player props. The player prop madness are always going to be right. The player props are always going to be there. But I want to talk about the elephant in the room, and this is just the last little point that I'm going to make. We said that we were going to do a live stream last week. It's our mistake. There was a couple of different things that came down the pipe for me, later on that Saturday. But by the time we ended up getting to it, it was way too clustered. Nobody was home at the same time. Anthony and I, quite frankly, just couldn't get the software to do what we wanted it to do in time, and we just weren't truthfully prepared. And we never want to give you anything less than a perfect product, or at least our best product. And so for those reasons, we decided to. We decided that we weren't going to do the live. There is I would say probably as big, or if not bigger, of an announcement coming on next week's episode. and obviously also look to Twitter for those in-game tweets. I think that with every single game that passes, you're going to find that we're just going to keep getting hot. So if you're not betting on us now, at least follow our Patreon plays. And if you're not listening to us live and you're not listening to us on Spotify, our episode's going to be uploaded this week. Just get on the Patreon, bro. It's $1 and you can get these plays literally for free. Like, it's, if you don't even care about the analysis and you just want to just bet free money, just go ahead, put $10 on everything and just go. We'll pay individuals and do a round robin parlay on it. So anything, man, that was the last thing I just wanted to say, man. And hats off to everybody in the chat that's been here for us, everybody in the DMs that's been supporting us, guys, from the very beginning. And I'm ready to get out there and make some good money. So catch you guys later. It's been a fantastic episode, and I'm so happy that you guys got to join us in. And thank you for joining the 4th and 1 podcast. We'll catch you next week. Peace. Love.